going to continue to learn more about more concepts. So we are going to continue. We're going to learn percentage yield for this segment first. Okay, so what exactly is percentage yield? Okay, so before I talk about percentage yield, you need to know a few terms. Okay, so percentage yield is basically just to show the relationship between the actual yield and theoretical yield. Okay, so you might be wondering what exactly is the actual yield. Okay, actual yield is the amount of pure product that is actually produced when the reaction is complete. Okay, this means that in the actual yield, I'm actually calculating the amount that, I shouldn't be using the word calculating, I mean measuring the amount of substance that is being formed, in this case, for the actual yield. Okay, so after you perform an experiment, okay, of course you need to measure the amount of products, okay, could be in volume or in terms of mass. Okay, theoretical yield is the calculated amount of product that we obtain when the reaction is complete. Okay, this means that theoretical yield is something that we actually calculate based on theory and the expected that you are supposed to collect from the reaction. Okay, so now you might be wondering, how come, do you think that in the experiment itself, do you think that we can actually collect the 100%? 100% means that it is the theoretical yield. Okay, so think about it. In an experiment, is it possible that if, let's say, I put one more of certain substance in the chemical equation, if it's 1:2, you get the actual amount back. Okay, so think about it if it's possible. Okay, so the calculation of percentage yield is actually the actual amount of substance produced in experiment divided by theoretical amount of substance produced by calculation. Okay, and this is actually amount means that is the number of moles. Okay, in this case, and then times 100%. Okay, if let's say you do not want to use the number of moles, you can also use the actual mass that is measured in the experiment and then divided by the theoretical mass of the substance produced by calculation. Okay, so pay attention. For theoretical yield, it is the one that you are supposed to calculate. So this means that for all the questions we have done so far, we have been calculating the theoretical yield. Okay, we have been calculating only the theoretical. In the question, the teacher will give you information about the actual mass or the actual amount because you are not performing the experiment in your exam, right? So, of course, we have to give you the actual amount. Okay, so you just need to pay attention to how to calculate the theoretical yield. Okay, so just now I asked you to think about it. Is it possible that the percentage yield can be 100%? Okay, the answer is definitely not. Okay, usually the percentage yield is less than 100%. Okay, and you might be surprised that actually most of the chemistry experiments are usually less than 50% yield. Okay, so why does this happen? Okay, there are a lot of reasons. Number one, okay, reactants used are not 100% pure. Okay, many times in chemistry in our school lab, of course what we have given to you is something that is pure because we purchase it from a chemical company. But in real actual situation, you know that many things around us that are actually in the form of mixture. Okay, so let's say if I'm looking at a calcium carbonate, right, it can be inside a rock and it can be just one of the components in the rock itself. Okay. Second reason could be incomplete reaction due to spilling of reactants. Okay, spilling of reactants, which means that when you're transferring things, you might have lost some of the reactants. Okay, experimental error that can go wrong sometimes could be even when you are trying to measure a mass of certain substance, right? You know for sure that sometimes because of certain airflow effect, it may affect the amount of mass that's supposed to be measured accurately. Okay, and also reversible reaction. What does it mean by reversible reaction? Okay, this means that sometimes when we thought that most of us, we always assume that the reaction is one way, but sometimes it can also go back to the backward reaction to produce the reactants again. Okay, you will learn that in the subsequent topics that there's something called catalysts that can help you to speed up the reaction. Okay, and sometimes also because of rust, like a layer of oxide that's being formed, this will help to slow down reactions. Okay, so there are many reasons why the percentage yield would definitely not be 100%. Okay, so it's good for you to copy this down in your CAB because in TYS, I think there are some questions that may ask you about the reasons. Okay, so now let's take a look at how should we go about calculating. Okay, so what is the percentage yield of calcium oxide, CaO, if 21 gram is produced by heating 50 gram of limestone, CaCO3? Okay, so pay attention. Usually when we are talking about percentage yield, we are looking at the products form. Okay, so if you read carefully this question, okay, this is the amount of reactant that was being used, 50 gram of limestone. Okay, and I know that after the experiment, I only managed to get 21 gram of calcium oxide. So this is actually my actual U. Okay, my actual U. So now you need to try to calculate the theoretical U. How should we go about calculating the theoretical U? Using this. Okay, so always remember the products will give you the actual U. Okay, so like what I've mentioned, okay, there are two things that are given in this case. 21 gram is not the theoretical U for sure. Okay, it is the one that is after I done my experiment, then the teacher measured this. Okay, remember the question will always give you only the actual U. Theoretical U must be something that you have to calculate in the question. Okay, so when you are calculating your percentage U, you need to calculate the theoretical mass or the quantity of the product that is being produced. Okay, so the known substance in this case is that I know I added 50 gram of limestone. Okay, so in this question, we have to assume that the limestone is a pure substance, okay, in order to calculate the theoretical U. Okay, so this is one assumption that you need to know, and it's good to take note because sometimes in the question, they may ask you if you make any assumptions about when calculating the theoretical U. Okay? Okay, so first step, okay, again, we follow like how we do always for stoichiometry. Step 1 is to calculate the number of moles, which is the amount of the substance. Okay, so if you use a triangle, you should know that I'm using mass divided by the molar mass of calcium carbonate. Okay, and this is 0.500 mole. Okay, to 3SF. Okay, but take note that you don't have, for intermediate workings, there's no need to write to 3SF. You always put to 4 to 5SF first. Okay, so after that, second one is always the mole ratio. Mole ratio of the reactant that you are given the information about and the product that you want to find, or the thing that you want the question asks you to find, which is in this case calcium oxide. Okay, since the mole ratio is 1:1, we know that the theoretical amount of CaO produced will be 0.500 mole. Okay, then after that we calculate the theoretical mass of calcium oxide by using the amount of mole times the molar mass, and this gives me 28.0 grams. Okay, so if you are really confused, actually step 1, 2, and 3 is the same as stoichiometry. So nothing has been changed. Okay, but now there's an additional step. Okay, the additional step is that, okay, you need to go and find out what's the actual U, okay, which is 21 gram that's given in the question. And since you found out that the theoretical U is 28 grams, so you need to use 21 divided by 28 times 100% and make sure that you leave an answer in 3SF. Okay, so for sure, if let's say during our calculation, you realize that your theoretical mass is smaller than the actual mass that's produced, right? That means something is wrong because percentage U can never be more than 100%, right? Okay, so always check through your answers. Some tips to check is to see the percentage itself. Cannot be more than 100%. Okay, and another reminder for many of you, please make sure you actually put in the units, okay, in your intermediate steps. We are not looking out for maths calculation. We are looking out for a statement like this and your units. Okay, I keep emphasizing this many times. Okay, now let's take a look at another question that's given on the website. Okay, ethene reacts with steam to produce ethanol. Okay, so this is the question. Calculate the mass of ethanol from 0.54 tons of ethane when 5% of ethene is converted to ethanol. Okay, this question involves involves percentage U, but in a slightly different way. Now the teacher has given you the percentage U that is being calculated, which is 5%. So the question is asking you to calculate the actual mass of ethanol that can be formed. Okay, so since only 5% is being converted, okay, what we can do first is step 1. We can actually go and calculate the amount of maybe ethane that has been reacted in this case. Okay, so step 1 is to get, I use 5 out of 100, okay, which is the percentage U times 0.4 tons. Okay, take note, for all the masses involving in mole, you need to change it to grams. Okay, because our molar mass unit is gram per mole. So you need to make sure you convert to mass. In grams. Okay, so after you have converted, that means we can assume that there's only this amount that has been reacted in this case. Amount of ethane. Okay, how do I calculate? What's the next step? Okay, you should know that it is to find the amount of substance. Okay, so again, the amount of substance you need to use mass divided by molar mass in this case. Okay, so like what I mentioned, you try to leave an answer in 4, 5 SF. Okay, and always remember your units here. Okay, then what is step 2? Okay, step 2 is to compare the mole ratio of ethane and ethanol. Okay, sorry, I realized that there's a typo error. This is ethene, ethene and ethanol. Okay, so after that, then 1:1. Okay, then you know that the amount of ethanol form, it is 714.2857 mole. Okay, so this is the amount formed. Okay, then you need to calculate the actual mass of ethanol that is being formed. Okay, then you get that, which is times the molar mass, and this is your answer. And make sure you put it in 3SF. Okay, so how many of you are thinking that maybe there's also another way how you can go about doing this question? Okay, if your thinking process is slightly different, okay, you can always calculate the percentage yield only at the second part. Okay, which only at the last few steps is also correct. It's also fine. Okay, depending on how you want to interpret this percentage yield over here. Okay. Okay, so make sure you complete your CAB page 88, question 21. It's a similar example for percentage yield. Remember to submit everything, okay, including your percentage purity questions and answers into the Google form.